Costco may look almost exactly the same as it always has, but behind the scenes, the way customers are subtly directed, monitored, and even charged inside the warehouse has shifted quite a bit over the past several years. Simple things, like scanning membership cards at the entrance, stricter policies at the food court, and those exclusive discounts that aren't actually available to every shopper, are part of a much bigger system that employees rarely explain out loud. Here's the real issue. If you're still shopping at Costco the same way you did years ago, there's a good chance you're unintentionally spending more than necessary, missing out on valuable perks, and overlooking genuine savings without even noticing it. This isn't just speculation or a collection of random shopping tricks people talk about online. Instead, these are 10 practical strategies for shopping at Costco more effectively. Tips that loyal, longtime shoppers usually discover only after years of trial, error, and paying the price for not knowing them sooner. The best times to shop, often called the golden hours, make a much bigger difference at Costco than most people realize. A lot of shoppers assume it doesn't really matter when they go. Whenever they have a free moment, they simply stop by the warehouse. But in reality, picking the wrong time can put you at a disadvantage the moment you walk through the doors. During busy periods, the store fills with heavy crowds. Carts bump into each other. Checkout lines stretch across the front. And before you know it, your cart is loaded with extra items you never planned to buy. Costco's golden hours aren't about what fits your schedule. They're about the moments when the store has the least influence over your shopping habits and impulses. As we move into 2026, two specific time windows stand out for shoppers who want a smoother, more controlled experience. The first is early in the morning, particularly during executive member hours or just after the warehouse opens. At that point, the store is still organized and calm. Fresh inventory has just been placed on the shelves. The food sections haven't been picked through yet, and employees aren't overwhelmed by large crowds. Shopping at this time allows you to clearly see the items you actually came for. Prices are easy to read, the aisles are open, and you're far less likely to be pulled toward flashy displays that weren't part of your plan. It's the ideal moment to pick up essentials, carefully compare products, or grab items that tend to sell out quickly. The second valuable window happens about 45 minutes before closing. This is when disciplined shoppers can move through the warehouse quickly and stay focused. By that point in the evening, browsing groups, large families, and casual impulse buyers have mostly headed out. The atmosphere becomes noticeably calmer. Checkout lines move faster, and you're less likely to fall into the "it's cheap, so I might as well grab it" mindset that leads to overspending. This late window works especially well if you're sticking to a prepared list, particularly for fresh groceries or items you plan to take straight home. However, there's one period you should actively avoid whenever possible: weekend midday. This is when the central court area and main aisles operate at full persuasive power. New product displays appear everywhere, sample stations are running constantly, the smell of prepared food drifts through the warehouse, and carts stop suddenly in crowded aisles. You might walk in expecting to buy just a few things, but it's very easy to leave with a cart that's packed with twice as much as you originally planned. Digital membership scanning at the entrance has become a much bigger deal than many shoppers expect. If you've ever noticed someone getting stopped at the front door because they couldn't find their membership card quickly enough, that situation is becoming increasingly common. By 2026, the entrance isn't just a friendly greeting spot anymore. It's effectively the first checkpoint in the entire shopping process. One incorrect scan or a red warning on the screen can immediately stop you, and you may be asked to step aside while a line of customers waits behind you. The goal of digital scanning isn't simply to slow people down or create inconvenience. Its real purpose is to eliminate membership card sharing, something that quietly happened for years. In the past, just holding a card in your hand was often enough to get through the door without much attention. That approach doesn't work anymore. When you scan the QR code in the Costco app, it instantly displays your profile photo, membership status, and account name. If those details don't match the person standing at the entrance, staff can deny entry on the spot. The issue is that many shoppers arrive unprepared. They reach the door and suddenly begin searching through their phone, waiting for the app to load while dealing with poor reception, low battery, or a dim screen. Even a few seconds of fumbling can slow down the line and create frustration for both customers and employees. Fortunately, the fix is very simple. Before you even step out of your car, open the Costco app and bring up the QR code on the main screen. Turn your phone's brightness up and confirm you have a reliable signal. When you reach the entrance, the process becomes quick and effortless. A single scan, and you're through. One small detail that many people overlook is the profile photo attached to the membership. If the picture is blurry, outdated, or doesn't resemble you anymore, employees are allowed to request extra verification. Because of that, some shoppers get stopped even though they aren't trying to misuse their membership. The photo simply no longer matches how they look today. Looking ahead to 2026 and beyond, Costco is clearly shifting toward a one-person, one membership, one digital code system. Getting comfortable with digital scanning doesn't just speed up your entry. It also helps you avoid unnecessary delays, questions, and awkward moments at the door. One surprisingly useful strategy is treating the warehouse itself like your refrigerator. Most shoppers assume the most fragile items at Costco are things like meat or dairy. In reality, the biggest mistake is often the order in which people shop. Costco warehouses are massive, and as you move through them, your cart steadily gets heavier. It's easy to drift from furniture displays to televisions, pause to compare cookware, grab a few samples, and then wander through the clothing section. By the time you finally remember the meat, milk, and frozen items, nearly an hour might have passed. The issue is that Costco is designed to keep its products properly chilled, not the items that are already sitting in your cart. When meat, dairy, or frozen foods sit out for 45 to 60 minutes under warehouse lighting and normal indoor temperatures, their quality can slowly begin to decline. You may not notice anything right away, and you'll still bring the food home and cook it. However, the freshness and food safety margin aren't quite the same as when the item first came out of the cooler. That's where the warehouse refrigerator mindset comes in. Instead of loading perishable foods right away, let Costco keep them cold for you until the very end of your trip. When you first walk in, do a complete pass through the store. Focus on dry goods, household supplies, electronics, and other items that don't require refrigeration. Take your time comparing prices and making decisions in those sections. Even if meat or dairy products are on sale, resist the urge to place them in your cart early. Wait until the rest of your list is almost finished. Only then should you head back to the refrigerated and frozen sections. At that point, the fresh items move quickly, from the shelf into your cart and then almost straight to checkout. This keeps the amount of time those foods spend outside a controlled cold environment as short as possible, which is the same approach used in professional food warehouses. Recently, many Costco locations have also introduced self-checkout lanes specifically meant for shoppers buying fresh groceries. If you notice these, take advantage of them. They often move faster than standard lines, help you avoid waiting behind oversized carts, and most importantly, get your refrigerated items home while they're still in excellent condition. Here's the reality behind the executive membership, often recognized by the Black Card. Many shoppers upgrade after hearing the same convincing promise. You'll earn 2% cash back, so you'll easily come out ahead. But the truth is that this membership level isn't automatically a good deal for everyone, and Costco is well aware of that. If it's used the wrong way, you're not actually saving more money. Instead, you're paying an extra fee simply for the sense of having a premium status. The real key to understanding the executive membership isn't the color of the card at all. What matters is a specific spending threshold. To break even on the upgrade cost, you generally need to spend about $250 each month throughout the year. If your spending falls below that level, the 2% rebate may feel like a nice bonus when it arrives, but it won't fully offset the cost of the upgrade. Many people remember a few large purchases and assume they're ahead, but they rarely step back and calculate the total spending over the entire year. What often keeps people locked into the executive tier isn't actually the cashback reward, it's psychology. After upgrading, many shoppers feel subtle pressure to shop more often, so the membership pays for itself. Holding the Black Card can make it easier to justify extra purchases. You might think, I might as well grab this, or the larger package makes sense because I'm getting 2% back. In reality, that rebate doesn't protect you from overspending. One unnecessary purchase can erase months of those small rewards. However, there are situations where the executive membership works exactly as intended. Large families, small business owners, or shoppers who frequently buy expensive items often earn enough back for the upgrade to make perfect sense. Beginning in 2026, some warehouses are even experimenting with earlier shopping access for executive members, which allows them to enter the store during quieter hours. That means fewer crowds, faster shopping, and less exposure to the high temptation displays in the middle of the store. For shoppers in that category, the black card isn't just a status symbol, it becomes a practical tool. The smartest way to approach the executive membership is to treat it like a simple calculation, not a reward you deserve. If your annual rebate doesn't at least match the upgrade fee, the logical move is to downgrade. Costco will typically refund the difference without hassle. In the end, the black card only truly benefits you when you stay in control of what goes into your cart, rather than letting the store influence your spending. For a long time, Costco's food court felt like an open invitation. Anyone could walk up, stand in line, and grab the famous cheap hot dog or a slice of pizza. A membership card wasn't necessary, and nobody really questioned it. Over the last few years, though, that setup has changed quite a bit. The food court has quietly become something of a security checkpoint, and many people only realize this once they're already waiting at the counter. Beginning around 2025, Costco tightened the rules across the board. The policy is now simple. No membership means no food court access. This shift wasn't really about losing money on the inexpensive menu items. The bigger issue was that the food court had turned into the easiest way for non-members to enter the warehouse. Once someone had a reason to walk inside, there was always the possibility they'd browse the store and make additional purchases. Eventually, Costco decided to close that loophole entirely. Today, the situation is pretty familiar. Before placing an order, you may need to scan your membership or show your card. And if you don't have one, an employee will usually ask you to step aside. For people visiting with friends or family members who aren't members themselves, it can feel a little uncomfortable. But this rule is now a company-wide policy, not something individual warehouses can casually overlook like they sometimes did in the past. There is still a legitimate way for non-members to access the food court, though it isn't really a workaround. That option is a Costco shop card, which must be purchased by an active member. If you're using a shop card, you're allowed to enter and pay for food normally. Costco permits this because the funds were already prepaid by a member, so it doesn't reopen the door to membership sharing or borrowed access. And if this change caught you off guard, go ahead and drop a like on the video. It's one of those policies that a lot of shoppers don't realize has quietly shifted. There's a small but important detail on Costco price tags that shoppers see every single visit, yet almost nobody actually notices. It isn't the product name or the large bold price in the center. Instead, it's the tiny numbers printed at the end of the tag. For Costco employees, those numbers act like a kind of internal shorthand. For the average shopper, they usually go completely ignored. Ironically, those little codes are where Costco is often the most transparent about what's really happening with an item. One of the most recognizable endings is 0.97. When a price finishes with 0.97, it typically means the item has been marked down across multiple warehouses in order to clear remaining stock. In most cases, this signals that the product has reached the final stage of its time in the store. There may still be inventory available, but the decision has already been made to move it out. If you spot a 0.97 price, it's generally a genuine clearance, not just a small promotional discount. Another code to watch for is 0.00 or 0.88. These endings are where the truly unexpected deals often appear. Unlike 0.97 items, these markdowns usually happen at the individual warehouse level. They can be triggered by things like excess inventory, packaging problems, or a store needing to clear shelf space quickly. Because these discounts are local decisions, there's rarely any advertising or large signage. In fact, another Costco location might still be selling the exact same item at full price. In this case, it really comes down to being in the right warehouse at the right moment. Perhaps the most important signal of all is the small asterisk in the corner of the price tag. Many shoppers assume it means a big sale is coming, but that's not actually the case. The asterisk simply indicates that the item is about to disappear from the warehouse. When you notice that symbol, the real question isn't whether the price will drop further. The real question is whether the product will still be there the next time you visit, because often it won't. Costco frequently introduces items that show up once and then vanish permanently. Learning to recognize these price codes can completely change how you shop. Instead of chasing random deals or relying on impulse, you start reading the tags with the same awareness employees have. Costco isn't hiding this information from shoppers. They're simply printing it small enough that most people walk right past it without ever realizing what it means. Here's a practical Costco gas hack that many shoppers overlook. Gas at Costco is almost always cheaper than at regular stations, but the real cost isn't just dollars. It's the time spent waiting in line. On some days, the queue of cars can be so long that you start questioning whether saving a few cents per gallon is really worth standing there for 30 minutes in the heat, cold, or rain. That's why, starting in 2026, Costco integrated its gas stations into the Costco app ecosystem. If you don't use it, you're still stuck waiting in the same long lines as before. The biggest improvement is real-time queue tracking. The app lets you see whether the nearest gas station is busy or quiet and provides an estimated wait time. No more driving over just to discover you've arrived at the worst possible moment. That small feature alone can save a lot of unnecessary frustration. Next is QR code payment directly at the pump. Once you've set up Costco Pay, you don't need to fumble for your membership card, swipe a credit or debit card, or even worry about leaving your wallet in the car. You simply scan the code, pump your gas, and go. Each fill-up only saves a few seconds, but during peak hours, those seconds can quickly add up to a noticeable difference in overall efficiency. A tip very few shoppers use: fill up after finishing your shopping, close to warehouse closing time. Gas stations often stay open later than the store itself, while most other shoppers have already left. This is when the lines are shortest, particularly on weeknights. Cheaper gas is great, but the real advantage comes from choosing the right time and using the right tools. The app doesn't make the gas itself cheaper. It just helps you access that low price without paying extra in wasted time or unnecessary stress. Here's the inside scoop on Kirkland Signature and why it's worth a closer look. Many shoppers grab a Kirkland product, pause, and then put it back down thinking, it's just a store brand, so it can't be that good. But if you understand who's actually behind Kirkland, those shelves suddenly look a lot more interesting. Kirkland isn't a manufacturer. It's Costco's own quality benchmark. The key point is that Costco doesn't produce everything itself. Instead, they work with the largest and most reputable manufacturers in each category, asking them to make products that meet Costco's internal standards. Often, these standards are equal to or even higher than the versions sold under the original brand name. That's why so many Kirkland items surprise shoppers with their performance and durability. They're coming off production lines you already know and trust. What Costco trims isn't quality. It's the marketing, flashy packaging, and brand overhead. By cutting advertising costs, sponsorship deals, and the expense of maintaining a brand image, more money goes directly into the product itself. Better ingredients, better processes, and ultimately better value for the consumer. When you place Kirkland products side by side with name brands, the most obvious difference is price. The function and production standards are often the same, but Kirkland typically costs a fraction of the brand name counterpart because there's no premium charged for marketing or brand identity. For shoppers focused on value, this is where the real benefits of Costco become most visible. Of course, not every Kirkland product is the perfect fit for every buyer. But once you understand that Kirkland represents a carefully curated system of quality control behind the scenes, it becomes much easier to decide when the store brand is the smarter choice and when it's worth paying extra for the name brand version. Here's a Costco trick that many shoppers completely overlook: the 30-day price adjustment rule. Often, people leave the store feeling like they scored a great deal, without realizing that the real savings can sometimes appear after the item is already sitting at home. Costco knows this, which is why they have a policy that surprisingly few shoppers take full advantage of. The rule is simple: if you purchase an item and the price drops within 30 days, Costco will refund the difference. There's no need for explanations, no arguments, and in most cases, you don't even have to lug the item back to the warehouse. Because this policy isn't shouted from large signs or advertised constantly, many shoppers miss out on what they're actually entitled to. The power of this rule becomes clear when you pay attention to pricing cycles. Costco frequently adjusts prices, particularly for electronics, large appliances, and seasonal items. Just a few weeks after buying something, the same product might drop by tens or even hundreds of dollars. If you're not watching, that potential savings simply disappears. Here's the smart approach. After purchasing a high-value item, keep your digital receipt in the Costco app and check the price periodically. either during your next warehouse visit or while browsing online. If the price has dropped, you can go to customer service, or in many locations, submit the request directly through the app. Staff will scan the receipt, verify the purchase date, and process the refund quickly. The 30-day adjustment rule doesn't make the initial purchase cheaper, but it protects you from losing out just because you bought early. At Costco, smart shopping doesn't stop at the checkout. It can continue for a full month afterward. Here's a frustrating situation almost every Costco shopper has faced. You drive a long way, fight for a parking spot, push your cart into the warehouse, and then find the shelf empty, with a sold-out sign staring back at you. It's not because you were late. It's just how Costco operates. Without checking ahead, you're essentially gambling with your time. Starting in 2026, the Costco app has become far more than just a tool for scanning membership cards or viewing receipts. One of its most powerful features is real-time inventory tracking. By searching for a product name or item number, you can see if your nearest warehouse still has stock and, in many cases, get an estimated quantity. This feature completely changes how you plan your trips. The key is to check before leaving home, not after you've already arrived. If an item is running low or sold out, you can switch to another location, adjust your schedule, or prepare an alternative. For fast-selling seasonal items, electronics, or in-demand Kirkland products, this is a game changer, helping you avoid wasted trips and frustration. One detail many shoppers overlook is how quickly Costco inventory can change throughout the day. Just because something is in stock in the morning doesn't mean it will still be there in the afternoon. If the app shows low quantities, getting there early is the smart move. If inventory is abundant, you have more flexibility to shop during quieter hours. Inventory tracking won't make products cheaper, but it ensures you buy in the right place at the right time. Costco operates on a massive scale, and this app feature gives regular shoppers access to information that was once only available to employees. The truth is, Costco isn't hard to shop at. It's just easy to shop incorrectly. The tips shared above don't teach you to buy more. They teach you to stop losing money to old habits. Shopping at the wrong time, following the wrong order, ignoring price codes, skipping app tools, or missing benefits you already have. Once you understand how Costco truly operates, you'll know when to enter the warehouse, what to pick up, and when to stop. Real value isn't about chasing sales. It's about shopping deliberately, staying aware, and keeping control of your cart. Which of these tips surprised you the most?